Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Lotus Chat Worldwide. I am Zian and I have Laura with me today.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, today we're diving into episode 54, where Laura and I will have a conversation about Deepak Chopra's 7 spiritual law of success. So we thought, we wanted to spice things up a little bit and do something different by having books as more of our focal point where we can discuss, have conversations, and bounce ideas from these wonderful books that we both have read. Yeah, so today's focus, we're thinking of doing so in the coming weeks, we have different books in line. We even thought of Khalil Gibran's Prophet, and we have a few up our sleeve, and we like to disclose that bit by bit, just to keep things magical. At the same time, so this week, let's dive in straight into Deepak Chopra's 7 Spiritual Law of Success. So it was a wonderful book. I don't know about you, Laura, but it was a wonderful book where Deepak really expanded on these 7 laws of success, and he talks a lot about success, happiness, abundance, creating a really wonderful life, but not really being very attached to it. So why don't, Laura, you tell me your favorite law out of all the 7 that he has?
Well, my favorite, that's really hard. But first of all, I do want to acknowledge what you said. We are taking a little bit of a detour in Lotus Chat. We want to talk about a book, but not do a book report, but take the topic and what it means to us in our journey to a more conscious living life. And so thank you so much, Zian, for doing this. I love to read. I know you're an avid reader. So this is just a conversation about what it meant to us. And everybody has probably heard of Deepak Chopra. I mean, he's written more books than I probably have even read, which I read a lot. But I grew up in a family that hard work was the only way to success. You had to work hard, you had to achieve, you couldn't sit and be lazy, which are all good things, but what I learned is that alone doesn't reach success. And what I learned in Deepak's book here is there's a lot more to it than just working hard. And he really doesn't attach working hard. He's looking more at our life and who we are and our way of being. And that's what really attracted me to the book, is instead of just work hard, invest here, open your door here, advertise here, it was more, what is my way of being to attract success? And that is a real pivot for me, because that's not what I learned growing up. So my favorite is the 7th law, the law of Dharma, or purpose in life. And the first or second page, it just mowed me over. He told his children that, I'm sorry, I'm having to look at it. He taught them to meditate and told them, you never ever have to worry about making a living. And I'm like going, I've been told since the beginning of time I had to make a living. He says, if you're unable to make a living when you grow up, I will provide for you, so don't worry about that. I don't want you to focus on doing well in school. I don't want you to focus on the best grades. But what I really want you to do is focus on yourself, how you serve humanity, and asking yourself what your unique talents are. And do you have a special way of expressing that talent? And I was like, that was so 180 from what I had learned growing up. But instead of looking at that and saying he's full of hot air or something else, I had to really look at what was he trying to tell me as I was reading that. And what he's saying is that we're all individually here for a reason. All of us have a purpose. We have special gifts. We have special talents. But we avoid that and we go into a job with a good pay, good salary, and we just keep doing it till retirement. And then when we retire, we don't know what to do with ourselves because that's all we've done. And then someone asked me once, what is it that you want in life? And I couldn't tell anyone because I was too busy working. So what he says is, look at your talents. What do you do well and what do you enjoy doing? And for me, it's music. I love music. It never occurred to me to do it for work, but I love the feeling I get when I play the piano or when I sing. But the last thing is, when you have a purpose in life, how do you use that talent to serve others? How do you give back to community? And for me, that was powerful because we all feel better when we're giving back, but we usually lose time. It's like, I don't have the time. I wish I could, but I'm doing this, I'm running here, I'm running there. But what he says is, stop worrying about the work, stop worrying about the time. Think about your special gifts. What do you feel good doing, and how can you serve others by doing it? Powerful for me. It's a whole different paradigm shift, but instead of looking at the work, it's looking at ourselves. So what is your purpose in life? That's my favorite one. How about you? What is your favorite law in the book?
Thank you for sharing your wisdom, Laura. And I think when you talk about purpose, it also relates to the idea of uncertainty, because sometimes we kind of know our purpose deep inside our heart.
Yes.
But then, yes, but then, opportunities are different. We might not be able to realize that, that deep purpose that we know, and our instinct tells us our purpose, but we don't know how to get there. And that's why my favorite law is the law of detachment. And I have to say, when I read that as a self-confessed recovering controller, I like to think that, this idea was, to be honest, absurd when I first read that, when he put it so big, like the law of detachment. I'm like, what? Detach from what? I'm also like very similar. I was brought up in an environment where, we need to achieve our goals.
Yes.
We are very goal driven, that's the end goal, Can you see that finishing line? That's where we're heading. So we have directions, we have plans, we have action plans leading towards that. But I think what Deepak was trying to unpack in this chapter, he was talking a lot about being able to sit with that uncertainty and, live in that wisdom of uncertainty. I love that, the way he puts that, because it's not the idea that you have no direction, or it's not the idea that you don't know the end goal, but it's more of not attached to what you envision the end goal to be. Because when we are detached, we are allowing the universe to present the magic, the wonder, and all the wonderful opportunities that is beyond our imagination that we never thought about. That's why I need to be comfortable with sitting with the wisdom of the uncertainty of life, and really to be detached from what I think the result will be. The intention is there, the desire is there, but not attached to a specific outcome that I have in my mind, like orchestrate so much detail in that mind. So that is definitely my favorite, and something that I would love to master a bit more on it.
Thank you for sharing that. I really liked how you said that as a reformed controller. I think we all do that, though. I mean, especially in relationships where we want an outcome. Usually we want some kind of, we maybe want a commitment. We want it to look a certain way. We want a certain gift on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And what we find is we're so busy trying to manipulate the outcome that we don't ever get what we really want, instead of saying, I'm just enjoying the moment here. And that is practice. That takes practice. But I
Huge practice.
loved what you said, though. The law of detachment is I'm detached from the outcome. I just want to enjoy the moment and the time that it takes to get there. And then it's like unwrapping a present at the end. It's like, what is the universe going to bring to me? And it's a wonderful place to be, but it takes a long time to get there.
I agree. And it's moment by moment, you know, you get there today, you might not feel the same way tomorrow, because the thing that triggers you is probably, you know, at certain areas of your life that is the hardest, you know.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started practicing detachment. Oh, it was so hard. But then I was in a relationship where it was detached for me. And I had no control. And that taught me how important it is not to have expectations. You just can't.
Yeah, I agree that is a good word, Laura. When we are attached to something, it also means that we have an expectation.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the other person doesn't read the script and they don't follow through.
They didn't get the memo.
No memo. I know.
Okay.
Two reformed controllers here.
Yes, that's right. And what is your next favorite law from Deepak Chopra?
Well, this will be a real surprise to you, but it's the law of least effort.
Ooh.
So someone who grew up thinking you had to work really hard and you had to perform and you had to succeed, the law of least effort went against everything I was taught. Because I thought if you didn't do anything, nothing would happen. But what Deepak says is the law is based on the fact that nature's intelligence functions with effortless ease and abandoned carefreeness. The principle of least action, of no resistance. Therefore, the principle of harmony and love can fill our desires. I really had to sit with that one for a while because it didn't make sense when I first read the book. But what I learned about the least effort is I have to accept where I'm at. I will accept people, I'll accept circumstances, I'll accept events as they occur instead of fighting it or resisting it. Now, we're not taught that. We're taught you resist so that you can change, but the resistance just keeps change from happening. After I learned how to accept things how they are, I have to take responsibility. And anything I see as a problem or something that I don't want, I take the responsibility to make change. Now, change is not resistance. Change is, what is it that I want? And what is it that I mentally have to do to get there? He says in here, every problem is an opportunity in disguise. And this alertness to opportunities allows me to take a moment and transform it into a greater benefit. I've read about people who say that they were diagnosed with cancer. It was the greatest blessing of all. And I looked at and I'm like, what meds are they on? But it's not. They're saying they learned so many lessons and they learned how to live in the moment and how to not look at the illness, but to look at what is and be responsible for the moment. And then today, my awareness will remain established in defenselessness. I will relinquish the need to defend my point of view. How many of us have to tell everybody why, what, and defend ourselves? I will feel no need to convince or persuade others to accept my point of view, and I will remain open to all points of view and not be rigidly attached to any one of them. So when you're living the life of the least effort, you're allowing things to flow. And Zian and I were just talking before Lotus Chat about a book called Flow that she's reading, and she talked me into it. But it's the same principle of allowing things to happen and not feeling defensive, not feeling that we have to do something, not feeling that we have to argue it. Currently, I'm working with a client. It's a group of people in an organization. And I'll tell you, they have the most difficult staff meetings. Everyone's got to defend themselves. Everyone's defensive. And they can't figure out why nothing gets done. Too busy.
Busy defending.
So I guess what I'm saying for me that I've learned from this chapter is living and flowing and accepting and just realizing that I don't need to defend myself. I just need to, my way of being is enough. And so that's why this is my second favorite law.
I love that. Thank you so much, Laura. That's beautiful words that you shared.
Thank you. So what is your second favorite one?
Okay, so I have to say my next one is actually the law of giving. I love how I totally agree with Deepak's way of understanding that, you know, in life we can't just take. If we just take, then what then is life? You know, it has to have that flow of energy. It has to give and take. But what really it took me a while to really process what he said is that the thing that you give that is most important is actually the things that are non-material. So it's talking about, you know, happiness, energy, joy, things that are not being measured and quantified by money. And I used to think, you know, when we do charity or any giving, you know, giving money is the best because they get the freedom to do whatever they want. And I have to admit, it's probably the easiest, fastest, you know, it's like, oh, here you go, the donation, done. I've done my good deed, you know. But, you know, I think the universe works in a very unique way. I think recently I have been involved with a charity home called Rumah Charis or Charis House. And the thing that they actually ask for is actually time, you know, and happiness and being able to spend time with the little girls that are there. And that is actually the one part of me that is actually the most challenging, because giving of time is actually, it requires more effort than giving of money, you know? And so I guess I was kind of practicing this, you know, the whole idea of the law of giving and just, you know, being able to be present there to provide myself, my energy, and whatever joy and happiness that I'm able to. One of the things that Deepak mentioned about in this law of giving is that we need to give without the expectation of the reward, which also kind of links to, you know, the law of detachment. So you have the intention to give, you want to give, but you cannot expect that, hey, if I'm going to give A, I want B from the universe. And it doesn't work that way. It's that you give A, everything that you've got, and just, you know, do not expect any rewards. And I'm sure, you know, in other ways, the universe will reward you in other ways. So that's definitely my second favorite, the law of giving.
Oh, Zian, that is so beautiful. You just really touched me, especially. I have to tell you, the hardest gift for me is my gift of time. And I don't know why. It means so much to me. I'd rather write a check any day of the year because I can get it out and go, okay, here you go. But gift of time is hard, and I'm kind of stingy with time, and I'm learning.
Yeah, I agree.
Give. Whatever is the hardest to give is what you really need to work on.
Yes, that's right.
And it goes along with the law of attraction as well. If we're holding on in scarcity to something, we can't be attracting something new. So I agree completely with that. That is so powerful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything, Zian, that you want the listeners to know why they should go out right now and buy this book before they do anything else?
No, I just think that it challenges my perspective growing up as an Asian kid. So I think if you are open to a new perspective, then perhaps this is a book that you want to explore.
I work with a lot of people, Zian, in my coaching business whose dreams have not come to reality. And there's a lot of disappointment and a lot of discouragement. And as I was reading this book, I'm now making it a part of the coaching process because we have expectations of what the outcome should be. And the problem is we're not walking the journey. And then we get discouraged, we get frustrated, and all of that being said, then we want to put our stuff down and just stand there and say, I'm not moving forward in life any further. And so I think it's really important for all of us to know that there is a lot to walking this path and this journey in life. And for it to be successful, there's more than just walking. And if you're willing to put the time and the energy in, it can be fulfilling. It may not look the same, but it will be more fulfilling than you thought possible.
Beautifully said.
Well, listeners, we are so glad you were here with us. Thank you so much. We are so excited about this kind of book clubbish kind of talk. So please run out and buy this book. But next week, we will be talking about Khalil Gibran's book, The Prophet. It is a classic. And when I hear classic, sometimes I think, oh, boring. But it's not. It's powerful. It's full of life lessons that we never grow tired of. So Zian and I will be bringing that to you and talking about that. And then the following week, we're going to bring out a Mark Singer book called The Untethered Soul, one of my all-time favorites. So for the next couple of weeks, we have some books. As you know, we're not going to read the book to you. We're just going to talk about what it meant to us on our journey forward. So we hope you'll join us. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to us and please leave comments. The comments mean so much to us. If you are listening or watching on Spotify, please follow us and do the same. If you have any ideas for books that you would like for us to talk about that you have read, and I am a big book fan, as is Zian, we always are looking for new books. So if you have one, drop a note to us on lotuschatworldwide@gmail.com. We would love to have your recommendation for us to talk about. And so with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Zian, I love working with you. Thank you.
Me too. So I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.